Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I am your host, Dave609, and today we're going to be looking at the brand new rules that came out for marching band for 2020 in the UIL Texas related stuff. Because of these rules, a lot of stuff is going to be changing, and it will definitely be effective for how area and state will turn out. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so now here are the new rules that have come into effect for the 2020 UIL marching band season. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about each of these except for one of the rules, which is what this whole video is mainly going to be about today. But if you do want any, if you have any questions on that, I'll leave a link in the description to a video that goes into better detail on all these rules and all that. So yeah, but let's go ahead and get right into this. So apparently, the first rule thing is that they're going to be sticking with the old judging sheets. Apparently they were going to be trying to change it for the 2020, 2021, or 2020 going on for area, state, and region stuff. But because of the pandemic, they just want to stick with the 2019, 2020 judging sheets. And so we won't be seeing the new sheets until at least 2021 to 2022. So another thing that has happened is now minimum performance has been reduced to 4 minutes instead of the normal 5 minutes. So that means some bands that are mainly affected by this pandemic will have a better time when it comes to marching, because they can at least have a shorter show if needed. For the entrance field, all that for entering the field, setting up, it's been increased to 6 minutes instead of the normal 5 minutes. So it'll still have the 45 seconds announcement happening, but instead on a 6 minute time. So it gives it to where people have a higher or have a longer time to get set up because of social distancing and all that. The exiting time has been increased, which I actually like this rule. I actually talked to somebody not that long ago about how I thought that some bigger schools, and this wasn't even talking about the pandemic, it's just in general, I think some of the bigger schools need a little more time to get off the field because they have more students that they would need to have exit the field. But especially with the pandemic, I think it's a good idea because now that gives it more time for people to get off the field in a nicely manner while still being in social distancing rules and all that. Okay, let's see here. So for contest stuff, for people that manage contests, they can actually give bands a larger interval than 15 minutes. So that means we can go up to like 20, 25, 30 minutes before each band goes onto the field, goes off the field, so that other bands aren't running into each other and making the pandemic a lot worse. Okay, so now the interesting rule, this is the one we're going to be mainly looking at in this video. For the 2020-2021 school year, each area and state contest shall consist of only one round. That is a big deal. That is going to make outcomes a lot different. And what I'm going to be doing today in this video is going through each, mainly in the 2018 area contests, since they had a finals in that one. I'm going to be looking at that, and based on that, we could see is what would have happened if this rule was in effect in 2018, and showing how it can definitely prove that outcomes can be a lot different if this rule was in effect much earlier. And this is all because of the pandemic too, so everything that I show or talk about is not the complete thing. Okay, so now, and the last thing, for the 2020-21 school year, there will be no full band retreats for any contest. So that includes no drum major retreats and no state full retreats that they've been doing lately. So yeah, this is going to be a lot that we're about to be going over for that. So back to the rule with the only one round. That's going to change a lot of stuff for this year for 2A, 4A, 6A bands. We're mainly going to be looking at 4A because that is what I'm mainly going to be looking at this time around. So we're going to start by going to Area A. Now, if this rule was in effect in 2018, this would have changed how the outcome would have been for certain bands that may do better in finals than they do in prelims. Now, when it came to Area A in 2018, they only advanced 7 bands, and the 7 bands that made it were Canyon, Pecos, Monjanes, Andrews, Big Spring, Hereford, and La Mesa. Those were the 7 in exact order. And so that means they would have only been advancing 3 bands to state. Now that definitely changes a lot with that because of the finals performance, Big Spring was able to get to 3rd place. With Monjanes and La Mesa, La Mesa came up to 4th and Monjanes dropped to 5th. But if it would have been in effect with only one round, it would have been Canyon, Pecos, and Monjanes if this rule was in effect. So it definitely shows that there could have been a completely different outcome with what band would have gone to state and what band would have been staying home. So this rule was in effect, Big Spring would have been the band staying home and Monjanes would have been going to state that year. Now on to Area B. This one would have been a little more interesting in my opinion because of the how prelims worked compared to finals. Now, Area B sent had 10 finalists and sent 5 bands to state. Now, just looking at prelims, the bands that advanced to finals were Argyle, Canton, Melissa, Farmersville, Wills Point, Community, Maybank, Anna, Aubrey, and Gainesville in exact order. And the bands that went to state were Argyle, Melissa, Canton, Wills Point, and Anna. But if this rule would have been in effect, the bands that would have been going to state if there was only one round would have been Argyle, Canton, Melissa, Farmersville, and Wills Point. So it is showing. So what I'm basically trying to prove is that it will definitely change the outcome of what bands will be going to state. Now, because of this pandemic, there may be a lot of bands from each area that will be most likely dropping out. I don't know what bands are. I don't know who is marching and who's not. So I can't give you an exact answer of what area or how many bands are in each area. So, you know, so basically what it could have been, because the least amount you can send is 1, with the most being I think about 6 or 7 and that's the most, because there's no area that has a lot of bands, like that many bands to be going beyond 7. But it definitely, so Area B would have been sending Farmersville and Anna would have been staying home. Area C, I don't think this one would have changed much. Well, actually, okay, never mind. It would have changed because one band would have changed. Okay, so 10 bands went to finals at Area C. These bands included North Lamar, Little Cypress, Mauriceville, Spring Hill, Lumberton, Bridge City, Pleasant Grove, Paris, Brownsboro, Henderson, and Liberty Elu. Those were the 10 bands that, in exact order, that made finals. And the bands that went to state were North Lamar, Spring Hill, Paris, Little Cypress, Mauriceville, and Lumberton. Now, if the rule would have been in effect that there was only one round, the bands that would have been going to state were North Lamar High School, Little Cypress Mauriceville High School, Spring Hill High School, Lumberton High School, and Bridge City High School. Which means that Paris would have been staying home. So as of right now, when we're looking at just by the first three areas that we've looked at, there would have been at least one band that would have been changed for who would have been going to state if this one round rule was in effect. For Area D, I think this is actually the one where I think no band actually changed at all. So Area D sent 10 finalists. It had 10 finalists, which were Kennedale, Burnett, Springtown, China Spring, Castleberry, Fredericksburg, Alvarado, Wimberley, Robertson, and Salado. So those were the 10 finalists, and the bands that they sent to to state were Kennedale, Castleberry, Springtown, Burnett, and China Spring. Now, if this one rule, or the one round rule, was in effect in 2018, they still would have been sending the same people or same bands to state, because it would have been Kennedale, Burnett, Springtown, China Spring, and Castleberry. So that would have definitely had a little bit of a change there, or had no change there. And then finally, Area E. This is the one where would have had a big change to who would have been going to state and who would have been staying home. So the Area E sent 10 bands to finals, which were Hidalgo, Early College, Purcell, Rio Grande City, Grula High School, Stamford High School, Rio Hondo High School, Fulshire High School, Port Isabel High School, Crystal City High School, Robstown High School, and La Fria High School. That would have been 10 bands. And then finals, they sent Hidalgo, Fulshire, Rio Grande City, Grula, Port Isabel, and Rio Hondo. Now the bands, if this one round rule was in effect, the bands that would have been going to state at Area E would have been Hidalgo, Purcell, RGC Grula, Stafford, and Rio Hondo. Yeah, so that would have been 5 bands, because they sent 5. So the bands that would have been staying home would have been Fulshire and Port Isabel. Because it definitely shows that the one round will definitely have a bigger effect on some of these bands. Now, I don't know who's going to be marching, like I said before. So, for all we know, some of those bands will make it because they have a good run. But this also proves that if you want to go to state, it don't matter. You're going to need to have a great run because of the one round. Because, as said in a video that's going to be in the description, if you have if you get like one of the earlier draws, you're going to want to have like a perfect run so you don't get lost in the mix of results and all that. Because you want to be that band that gets called out to go to state. You want to be one of those bands that gets to go to state. And now, how this will affect the state level contest. And this was another thing I just now thought of. This will definitely affect state because, and this definitely proves from 2018. Because in 2018, when they did the announcements, the placements in prelims was North Lamar first, Argyle, Canton, Fulshire, Canyon, Kennedale, Springtown, Melissa, Little Cypress, Marysville, and Hidalgo. Those were the 10. But then when we got the finals, it showed that Canton got first, Argyle, then it was Argyle, North Lamar, Canyon, Kennedale, Melissa, Little Cypress, Marysville, Hidalgo Early College, Springtown, and Fulshire. So what this shows is that the one round, if this one round would have been effective at state in 2018, North Lamar would have been the 2018 4A champion, not Canton. Canton would have still been in top 3, but they just wouldn't have gotten the gold medal. So this definitely shows that state will have a different outcome. And this is what's really interesting to me about this new rule. So, yeah, so definitely is going to be a interesting concept and outcome for how 2020 marching season is going to work. So yeah, I know it's still a little early for predictions, so if you have any predictions at all, leave it down in the comments below. Once again, I'm Dave609. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.